Throughout history, the job market has faced many disturbances, from periods of mass unemployment to economic crashes and even technological disruptions. The Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries marked one of the most significant shifts in human labor. Machines replaced manual labor, new industries were born, and traditional crafts declined. But while these revolutions displaced workers, it also created new jobs, new industries, and an overall sense in productivity. Those who adapted, learning new skills, moving into emerging industries, often found opportunities. Fast forward to the 20th century, and we see another major disruption: the Great Depression of 1929. Unlike the Industrial Revolution, which was driven by innovation, this was a collapse of the financial system. Millions lost their jobs and entire economies crumbled. But government intervention, policy shifts, and later the post-war economic boom helped rebuild employment and stabilize growth. Even in the 2008 financial crisis, which wiped out millions of jobs, recovery was possible through restructuring and reinvestment in various sectors. And then came the digital revolution of the late 20th century, the rise of computers, the internet, and automation. Once again, industries were disrupted, but new ones flourished. White-collar jobs expanded, tech startups created unprecedented opportunities, and while some jobs became obsolete, others, like software development and digital marketing, took their place. In each of these revolutions, human labor evolved, but employment didn't just disappear. But unlike many people believe, the AI revolution is very different. This isn't just about machines replacing manual labor. It's about artificial intelligence replacing cognitive work, creative work, and even decision-making roles. This is significant. Unlike past industrial changes, AI doesn't just automate tasks, it replaces entire professions in ways we have never seen before. Jobs that once required years of training, like lawyers reviewing contracts, artists designing graphics, journalists writing news, are now being challenged by algorithms capable of producing similar, if not superior, results in seconds. And here is where this revolution becomes more dangerous than any before. Past industrial changes created new opportunities alongside job losses. The AI revolution, however, is not creating jobs at the same rate that it's eliminating them. The traditional model that we saw throughout history of disruption followed by adaptation is breaking down, and this is a fact. Fewer industries are emerging, and the ones that do, like AI engineering, require highly specialized skills that most displaced workers don't have access to. And unlike the Industrial Revolution, where workers could shift from farming to factory jobs, or the Digital Revolution, where many transitioned into tech, there was no clear mass labor alternative for those displaced by AI. Instead, we're seeing a global increase in underemployment, gig work, and economic instability altogether. In the past, we had economic crashes and also industrial revolutions and digital progress in different periods, but now we are experiencing all of these together in one era. And safety nets that existed in the past crises, such as strong unions, government intervention, and reskilling programs, are weaker than ever. And with corporations prioritizing profit over people, the result is a growing class of workers who have degrees, are technically specialized, but are simply left behind. This is not just an industrial shift. It's a fundamental change in the way work itself functions. And if we don't address it now, the consequences will be more severe than any job market collapse in history. The headlines are everywhere. Unemployment rates at an all-time low. The job market is booming. The economy is growing. These are messages that we are constantly fed by the media, the government, and even some economists. But is it true? There's a darker side to the story that most aren't talking about. Today we'll dig deeper into the truth behind these numbers and the real state of the job market across the globe. from the US to the UK to several European nations. So let's start with the most obvious claim, the idea that unemployment is at a historic low. You've heard the numbers, low unemployment touted by media outlets worldwide. But how accurate are these numbers really? And are we being misled by the way they are represented? So according to the media in the US, the unemployment rate as of late 2024 stood at around 4.1. In the UK, it was reported at around 4.4%. And while in some European countries like Germany and Spain, it was notably higher, these figures are often celebrated by the media as signs of economic health. However, they don't tell the full story. Underemployment, job insecurity, and the quality of available work remain significant concerns that are not captured by unemployment rates alone. And the problem comes with the way that unemployment is measured. There's a big flaw. For example, in the US, those who are no longer looking for work, often called discouraged workers, aren't counted in the official unemployment figures. The same goes for the UK and other European countries. This leaves out millions of people who may want to work but have given up due to a lack of opportunities and exhaustion from failed attempts. Labor force participation rates, also known as LFPR, have experienced fluctuations in various countries over the past decades. These figures represent individuals who are part of the labor force, and shifts in these rates reflect changes in the number of people who actively seek employment or are currently employed. But there's an even darker layer to this story. While reported unemployment rates might appear low, they don't capture the full extent of this crisis. In many countries, individuals who have just given up looking for work are excluded from official statistics. And why have they given up? Well, because they no longer have faith in the system or have been abandoned by it entirely. In parts of Europe and other places around the world, unemployment benefits are either non-existent or so minimal that many workers simply stop reporting their status. The shame and the frustration of endlessly searching for jobs that don't exist, or the realization that they might never find work, pushes people to give up on official channels entirely. And yet we rarely hear about these individuals in the media. Instead, the headlines focus on low unemployment rates, celebrating what seems like a healthy economy. But these numbers are misleading, leaving out those who have been effectively abandoned by the system. These people are not counted in the official numbers of unemployment rates, yet they are struggling. And these numbers do not reflect that at all. These are sometimes known as ghost workers. They are out of the job market, but they are still deeply affected by it, of course, because they have no income, they have no governmental benefits, and they are facing what's often a slow and devastating collapse. Many people don't have a safety net. They don't have support from a system that only values their productivity. Many of these people lose everything from their savings to their actual homes, being forced to return to their family homes, ask friends for help, or simply becoming homeless. In the most desperate cases, many people turn to crowdfunding to meet their basic needs too. And I've seen this even on LinkedIn, people being so desperate that they have crowdfunding to be able to pay for their rent, or on social media asking for help to pay for food for the week. All of this ignored by the media. And this disconnection between the numbers and the lived experience is key. Because the media is promoting the idea of booming economy, but millions are silently suffering. Another problem is that these numbers do not account for the amount of people who are just working part-time, temporarily, gig jobs, or jobs where they are not really signing a contract and where they are receiving the money illegally. In many countries, more than 1/4 of the workforce is now in non-traditional employment, so jobs that don't offer stability or benefits of full-time positions. These types of jobs contribute to the illusion that there is a low unemployment rate, but they don't provide the security that most workers need to live a stable life, to have their own homes, their children, their stability. 0-hour contracts are particularly a problem as they offer no guaranteed hours and they leave workers, of course, in precarious situations. And in many countries throughout Europe, youth unemployment is very, very high, especially among graduates who are often overqualified for the available roles and yet not employed because they are overqualified. These statistics are obviously very worrying because they indicate not only a huge economic crisis, but a generational one. Young people enter the job market with expectations and qualifications, but they are being forced into dead-end jobs that don't match their education level. So in other words, they are investing time and money in degrees that will be basically useless. And then we have the elephant in the room, the layoffs. Even in these booming economies, we're seeing mass layoffs in industries like tech, retail, and manufacturing. Companies are still cutting jobs at an alarming rate. And many of these companies post record profits, yet they are still letting people go all of the time. This, of course, increased during the COVID-19 pandemic, where entire sectors like hospitality and retail were left decimated by layoffs. Big tech companies like Meta, Amazon, and Google have laid off tens of thousands of workers in the past 2 years, yet these same companies are reporting record profit during these times. In the UK, large retail chains like Marks & Spencer and John Lewis also announced mass layoffs, citing changing consumer habits and the need for restructuring. But many argue that these layoffs aren't due to external factors. They are part of a wider strategy to reduce costs and maximize shareholder profits. And of course, we have AI, which I am now infamous for always bashing and talking about. The media often downplays the role of automation and artificial intelligence in job displacement, but the story is very different. Very often, the fear of AI-driven unemployment is met with mockery, dismissed as an overblown concern, and people use excuses as, oh, in the past there was also the Industrial Revolution and everything was okay. But there is a huge difference in this. Research shows that millions of jobs, especially in the fields like transportation, manufacturing, and even customer service, are at risk too due to automation. And the fact is that while AI and automation are hailed as progress by the media, the reality is much darker for workers. And even universities and online courses are profiting off of this, trying to convince people that if you take this new course or this new degree, you will increase your chances of being employed in the future and that it's so innovative, forgetting the fact that pretty much any specialized job will be able to be replaced by AI, and at a very fast rate. Jobs that were once the backbone of the economy are now being replaced by machines that don't need salaries, benefits, or labor rights. And as we see more and more jobs disappearing, the media continues to downplay this very real impact that it has on everyday workers. So we need to remember that these numbers are just part of their story. They are not the reality. What's being left out is the increasing number of workers in unstable, low-wage, or part-time jobs, the ongoing layoffs despite corporate benefits, and the growing threat of automation. And what is often sold to us as an economic boom, in reality, is an illusion that benefits the corporations but not the workers. And so the truth behind the headlines is far more complicated than we are being led to believe. And as we move forward in this series, we will dive into the rest of the story, how mass layoffs, ghost jobs, and broken hiring practices are contributing to the crisis in the job market. So join me on the next episode where we will continue to raise awareness and look into the silent collapse of the job market and what we can do to help those affected by it and raise awareness and hopefully drive change. Thank you for watching. And as always, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and maybe subscribe if you want to see more of this and me. And if you didn't like the video, well, you can unlike the video, and I'm always open for a discussion as long as we remain respectful. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye!